of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Kansas City.
It's the longest and probably most important homestand of the season for the Royals. 9 games over the next 10 days against 3 hot American League teams. First up, the division-leading Cleveland Indians, who lead Kansas City by 8 games. But the Royals are at home, where they play their best baseball, and they will need to as this significant 9-game stretch begins right now. It was a hot day in Kansas City, where now we come to you from Kauffman Stadium for Game 1 of this 3-game series between the Cleveland Indians and the Kansas City Royals. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physioc. This is Rex Hudler. The Royals have played very well at home this year. They're 29-13 at Kauffman Stadium, and they have to make that continue because they have 3 tough tests on this homestand.
Yep, the Royals will find out after this 9 games, Fizz, where they stand exactly. Now, it's not the end of the season for sure. There's plenty of games left, but these teams are going to be tough on the Royals. They absolutely know it, and especially the Angels, when they come in, they may not be first place like these other 2 teams. But look, every team in Major League Baseball presents its difficulties and its challenges, especially from the starting pitching.
Well, let's take a look at those 3 opponents. Cleveland first, then Texas, and then the Angels. Cleveland in first place, Texas in first place in the West, and then the Angels, they won 7 of their last 10 ball games.
And they swept the Royals earlier in their house this year. So look, nothing's going to be easy, but the Royals are going to find out their identity and what they're made of. But home is the place where it's good. They love the home cooking here. The fans, they feed off that energy, and hopefully it'll happen tonight against Corey Kluber.
Well, Rex, tonight is law enforcement night, and you know, fans, our country has really been in pain because of the tragedies that have taken place recently in Orlando, Dallas, and Baton Rouge. The Royals family is keeping those families who are hurting in their thoughts and prayers. Tonight, as I said, law enforcement night. We will have a moment of silence, and right now let's go to public address announcer Mike McCarthy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join the Cleveland Indians and Kansas City Royals in a moment of silence for all of the first responders who've given the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty, including those police officers involved in Dallas and Baton Rouge recently. Thank you. Now we request that you please remove your hats and place your right hand over your heart, or render a salute if you're a veteran of the United States military, as we pay respect to our flag and country and honor America with the performance of our national anthem. Our Royals fans got talent participant, Kansas City, Kansas police officer Dustin Dierenfeld.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight and the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Law enforcement night at the K. We're paying respects to Brad Lancaster, a Kansas City police officer who lost his life. There's Eric Hosmer along with Mike Moustakas talking with his daughters Brianna and Jillian, and then they will throw out the first pitch. They're the daughters of Kansas City, Kansas police officer Brad Lancaster, who again lost his life in the line of duty. And we salute that family and all suffering at this most difficult time around America. When we come back, we'll talk baseball about the Cleveland Indians. Terry Francona brings to Kauffman Stadium the #1 pitching staff in the American League with all 5 starters in the top 20 in earned run average. They are our Toyota League leaders.
That's right. Hey, look, we all knew before the season started that the Cleveland Indians had this pitching staff because they were intact last year. And so far, they've been injury-free, and look at those numbers, as advertised.
When we come back, we'll talk Kansas City starting pitcher Edinson Volquez. That's next. Edinson Volquez will make his 20th start of the year, hoping he throws like he did back on June 13th when he shut out the Tribe in 7 innings of a 2-1 Royals victory.
That's right. The Royals are 8-3 in his home starts this season. Eddie, stay steady.
Corey Kluber goes for Cleveland. First pitch is next. With a record of 54-37 and 8-game lead over the world champion Royals. Cleveland will start things with Santana, Kipnis, and Lindor. All three have been hot, and Mike Napoli hitting .249. This guy has been a leader, 63 RBIs this year.
Yeah, he's leading the team. He's been to postseason. Him and Juan Uribe, a couple of veteran guys that have been there and done it, have really made a difference to those players that they're playing with.
Volquez with an ERA of 4.85, but a lot of those runs were given up 2 starts ago, where he really labored, giving up 12 runs in an inning plus. But since then, he has thrown well, and he delivers strike 1 to Carlos Santana, a .257 hitter with 20 home runs and 51 driven in.
Oh yeah, that 2-seam fastball and that curveball there, those are nice combinations that he uses, and he hasn't even brought in his changeup. We'll give him a little time to do that. Fastball, curveball, change. That 2- and 4-seam combination off of his fastball can really give hitters fits, especially once it's moving down like that.
Right there on the inside corner at 93 miles an hour, he gets the strikeout of Carlos Santana on just 3 pitches.
Well, Santana, he's always amongst the league leaders in walks. Volquez knew he'd be up there eyeballing. He went right to him, and Santana, you got to go. Right after him.
Now he'll face an all-star in Jason Kipnis, who made his second all-star appearance. He's been extremely hot lately. 13 hits in his last 28 at-bats to raise his average to .280. And there's that good 2-seamer on the inside corner.
He's one of their most important leaders on their team, Jason Kipnis. Solid both sides, defensively and with a bat. Volquez, that 2-seamer, it's working magic. And it's a good thing, because so far this season, Volquez has allowed 15 runs in the first inning. A 6.66 ERA. He's going to have to change that. So far, so good.
Well, he looks mighty good early as he goes off speed and gets his second strikeout on a swing from Kipnis. Our Golden Oak lending keys to the game for Hud.
That's right. Get Kluber an Uber. That's right. Get him one. 8 runs allowed last time out against the Royals, and they can do it again, but they've got to see him up. Now, when they score 4 more runs in Volquez's start, we like their chances for the W. 21-3.
Now Lindor, the talented young man out of Puerto Rico, hitting .301. One of the best young shortstops in the game. And that is the first pitch that is missed from Volquez.
Can't believe he threw a ball. Get the pin up.
Fouled off, 1 ball, 1 strike. That's a little like yesterday when Michael Fulmer came out through 7 strikes and 7 pitches in the first inning, and then Ventura matched him in the bottom of the first with 7 of his 8 pitches thrown for strikes. Ball ripped down the right field line. And it is gone. A home run that just barely made it around the foul pole. Wow, he has absolutely demolished Kansas City in his career and hitting over .460 this year against Kansas City.
11th homer of the season, and that ball was hit so hard we could barely even see it leave. Fastball had a really nice uppercut swing on it. That 2-seamer he's been throwing to the previous 2 hitters, Lindor figured it out.
But it was belt high rather than down around the knees. So 1-0 Cleveland. And now Mike Napoli. He'll take strike 1. That was the 90th home run given up by Kansas City starting pitchers this year.
This Cleveland Indians offense, they've been averaging 4.96 runs per game. That's almost 5 runs a game. And when your starting staff is only giving up a 3.57 ERA, I'm not much in the math business, but you're going to win your share of games when you're scoring runs for that pitching.
A little bit low. 2 balls, 1 strike. How about our Ford defense, Hud?
Yeah, the Royals, they're solid as ever. Escobar, he's been their Iron Man. He started in every single game this season. Now, currently, per Fangraphs.com, the Royals are currently plus 25 defensive runs saved. That's tied for second best in the American League behind the Astros, who are plus 32. So defense has been good.
Napoli, another hot member of the tribe with a 6-game hit streak, 9 hits in his last 21 times up. He'll get a lot of strikeouts. His batting average will be around .250, but a lot of home runs and a lot of clutch base hits.
Great low ball hitter.
Center field, Dyson right there. He makes the catch, but Lindor goes deep, and Cleveland takes the early 1-0 lead. Has played in 11 games against Kansas City this year, has 7 extra base hits. Man, he has been impressive. Here is the Royals batting order. Escobar, Hosmer, Morales, Perez, Gordon, Cuthbert, Orlando, and Merrifield back in there.
Yeah, good to see Whitley getting another opportunity. Hopefully he can get hot against Corey Kluber. Throughout Dyson, they'd like to see him get on base, add a little bit of speed, maybe a steal or two.
Here is Kluber's numbers at home against the Royals. 1.43 ERA back at Progressive Field, but here at Kauffman Stadium an ERA over 5. Go figure.
Well, he's had issues here, and I can tell you his last time out he cruised the first 2 or 3 or 4 innings, and then the Royals got him late.
And this is more of a pitcher's ballpark than is Progressive Field.
Certainly is. But, you know, he's got great stuff. But the Royals offense have to look up. Forget those pitches that are below the knees and down, because you know they don't have the ability to lift those pitches. You see it high and let it fly.
He'll throw that 2-seamer more than the 4-seamer, right?
That's right. He's going more sinker. And then there it is there. But you know, his velocity is not quite what it used to be, but you know, you don't need that when you have that type of ability to spin that ball and put it right where you want it. Kluber, there it is. Sinker, cut fastball, 4-seamer, curve change. He's got all kinds of pitches, but he knows where to put them, and that's the whole key to successful pitching up here in the big leagues.
Fouled off. Roberto Perez is the starting catcher in there because of the injury suffered by Yan Gomes. But Perez, a very capable catcher. He's the guy who took over last year when Gomes was injured for a little more than a month early in the season. And the entire pitching staff struggled with him on the sideline last year. They went 10-16 and the ERA went up a full run.
Yeah, it's a tremendous blow for them.
There's a breaking ball swung on and missed. Our University of Kansas hospital injury report. This was yesterday. At first it looked like he hurt his knee, grabbed his knee, but it was his shoulder that he separated and could be done for the year.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you, he's a valuable part of their team. But you know what I liked? The guy's been struggling all year, but he hustled. He's hustling in to first base there. This is a catcher working hard, trying to help his team and try to get out of the way of the throw, and land on his shoulder. Tough break.
And Perez, who was on the disabled list, was activated just today. So they were fortunate to get a guy who was their backup last year, and now he takes over in the everyday role.
Just like any other team that experiences injuries to your star players, you got to have somebody else come up and fill it up. Cutters breaking balls. Wow, he says Haas win on that.
And that certainly has been the case with the Royals, losing Mike Moustakas for the entire season with the knee injury, and still Lorenzo Cain sideline. He went.
He did. Couldn't quite lay off it. Kluber, so far in his very few pitches, looks like he has some excellent snap to his breakers.
Fastball missed high.
You have to zone him up and out over the plate and hope that he hits that zone. And if he does hit that zone, you can't miss it.
Tried to tease Hosmer high, didn't bite. 3-1 count.
Cutter slider combination. It's not a big breaker, but it does have some late movement. Curve's got a lot more depth to it.
Full count. The center fielder Tyler Naquin will take care of the drive by Hosmer, and 2 out.
He almost misjudged that. That ball was hit on the line. Almost played that into a triple. Defensively, the Cleveland Indians. Roberto Perez, you just mentioned it, getting his 5th start this season. It's a good signal caller. Has a decent arm. and he's good enough, they hope, to get the job done for the Tribe this year. Now the Indians, they're just -1 in defensive runs saved. That's 16th in Major League Baseball. So overall their defense is not saving a lot of runs.
Here is Kendrys Morales, a 257 hitter.
Toughest ball to judge is that liner. Look at that. Haas barreled it. Naquin started in and then went back, and oh man, made a nice recovery.
A lot of that damage was done in the month of June, where he was the Royals Player of the Month. Kendrys with just 6 hits in his last 8 games and no extra base hits. Need his presence in the middle of their order.
Cooled off some, and again getting a little bit more aggressive, swinging at pitches that are not his pitch.
And now Kluber walks him to face Salvador Perez.
It's just his 28th walk in 122 innings. Not too bad. He's pretty much a strike thrower. Now, with no runners on base from his windup, the opponents are only hitting 185 out of him. But with runners on, the opponents are hitting 278. So he's not quite as effective from the stretch. Let's see if Salvi can make him pay here for the walk.
Sal really got to Corey Kluber back on June 15th when Kluber gave up a career high tying 8 runs in a Kansas City 9-4 victory. Sal jumped him to center field.
Yep, there it was. On the outer half. Didn't try to pull it. He went with it. And Salvi has plenty of pop to get it out of here at the K at 410 plus.
I love this moment with Lorenzo Cain, who's saying, I'm still looking for where that ball went.
Yeah, that was good. That was a great moment for Salvi, but it just goes to show you, this ballpark, you hear all the talk about, hitters saying, well, it's big yard, hard to hit homers. But for Salvador Perez, he can hit one anywhere in this park.
He's had difficulty with Kluber in the past. Morales with a 2-out walk. He and Mike Napoli at one time teammates with the Angels. He went, and Kluber gets the strikeout. He has 2 in the inning. We head to the second with the Indians leading KC 1-0. The lead. Tonight's Indians-Royals game is being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces serving around the world on land and on ships at sea. Welcome, guys, including Captain Will Fox, who's out on an aircraft carrier in the Pacific.
Yes, thank you guys for your hard work, Cleveland Indians fans and Kansas City Royals fans. Battle of the Central.
This is a guy who many would consider the MVP of the Cleveland Indians. The job that he has done. Jose Ramirez plays every position, and look at the numbers. 41 RBIs for a guy who is batted in every slot in their lineup. One out.
Everybody knows that you got to play well in your division, especially the Royals. They know well about that. Over the last few seasons, as they've gone to the mountaintop, they've had good records in their own division. The Cleveland Indians, they're doing that this season. Look what they are against the Central. They're very tough, especially at 10-1 record against the Detroit Tigers.
That is Arcia in the driver's seat. 28-12 against the AL Central. Now Lonnie Chisenhall.
Yeah, Chisenhall, he's been good this year. Didn't have him early in the season. He had an injury, but now he's been coming back, hitting right at 300.
Yeah, hitting 354 his last 20 games to bring that average up from 280 to just a tick under 300.
Pulls most of his hits. He's a pull hitter, and he will take off speed the opposite field when he's down in the count. He's looking to pull heavy early. See on the right side over here, they got a little small triangle over here. They're going to play that defense, but
he's a little like Alex Gordon, where he came up as a third baseman and they moved him to the outfield. A pop up on the infield. Merrifield, 2 out. Volquez's last start was July 8th when he beat Seattle 5-3 and had a quality start. Gave up 3 runs in 6 innings.
Yeah, you know what? If you hold a team down to 3 runs, right at 3 runs, you should be able to score enough to win, depending on the opponent, obviously. But Volquez, when he gets his pitches working and staying down in that strike zone,
like that.
Yeah, he's using his defense. Strikeouts, they're not heavy this year on his side. He had 85 coming in and 111 in the 3rd innings. And so that tells me he's not going for strikeouts. He's just pitching to contact.
You know, he's one guy who really has a lot of fun on the mound.
Well, sure, he enjoys competing. This guy, he's the same no matter what. Even on the day he pitches, every 5th day. A lot of pitchers, they won't talk to you. They're in their own little world on that 5th day, but not him. He smiles. He's the same way. Same guy all the time. And it's just different styles for different guys.
I remember, Rex, the game after he gave up the 12 runs in 1+ inning. He got to the 1st without allowing a run in his next start, and he went into the dugout and he got high fives and he was raising his arms to the sky saying, "Thank you, I got through the 1st." I mean, he pitches with such joy.
I mean, you know, that outing he came off of was historically low.
Well, he strikes out Juan Uribe. A solid 2nd inning. When we come back, Alex Gordon will be leading things off for KC. first inning home run by Francisco Lindor have the 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the second. Alex Gordon, on a really warm evening in Kansas City, will lead things off. Good crowd on hand for game 1 of this important 3-game set.
Huh? It's a Monday night, Fizz. The place is packed. Love it. That's exactly what these fans come to the K for, to see winning baseball. That's what they want to see. Royals, second best home record, 29-13.
And that's what's been amazing, Hud. Averaging 5 runs per game in a pitcher's ballpark, then on the road averaging only 3 runs per game.
Yeah, it's hard to figure, Fizz, but we're on the road. I mean, we're at home now for next 9 days. I didn't want to hear about the road. Let's just get her done here.
Kluber jumps ahead of Alex Gordon 0-2. Buries one in the dirt. One of his rare off-speed pitches. All 7 of Alex's home runs have been hit off of right-handers.
So Alex Gordon working on thinking about the opposite field would be a good time here. Now they're playing him dead pull.
Just low.
You can see that they're all over there. Every guy up there is on it, and they are trying to cover that whole side of that infield. Alex has the ability to go to left field, but he needs a hit over there just to give him a little extra confidence. They're trying to pound him in.
Instead, he goes with that sinker at 93 and gets his 3rd strikeout.
Kluber's ball is exploding. It's got all kinds of movement tonight, making it tough for those hitters to find a spot, pick it out, and not miss it.
Now Cheslor Cuthbert. This is another guy, if you include both his time at Omaha and his time in the big leagues, he has over 55 RBIs. And he smacks this one to right center. Naquin misread it, and the ball will drop in between the right fielder and the center fielder. Tyler took 2 steps back and then came in, and by then it cost him.
Not just a single. They made it close anyway, but sometimes it's not how hard you hit it, it's where you hit it. And Naquin, you're right, Fizz, he didn't come directly in on that ball. He had a tough read. You see him in center field. He kind of started to his left. But that ball had eyes on it.
Now Paulo Orlando. He has been the Royals' Honda most trusted against the American League Central this year. Check out these numbers.
Yeah, impressive the way he stays in the middle of the field. Better than any Royals hitter. He's a guy who thinks middle, and when he sees his pitch, he doesn't miss it. And usually he's aggressive early in the counts. Goes right after him.
He's picking things up of late. 7 hits in his last 22 at bats, and that came right after an 0 for 18 skid he'd been in. Trying to tie this game.
Well, you know, Ned wasn't playing him as much. I think he's heard some rumblings about the fact that he only has 1 home run all season.
It's that one sharply on 1 hop to Lindor. They get 1 and 2, and the inning is over. And that is the 12th double play turned behind Corey Kluber this year.
Stadium, Indians still on top 1-0. Joel Goldberg down by the Royals dugout, and still the status quo for Lorenzo Cain, but he continues to get his work in, as we see in our premier Mazda game break, doing that work earlier today with Rusty Kuntz. So along with the running drills and the hitting that he's been doing, a chance for Lorenzo to get out there and work on some of that outfield defense and test out that hamstring. But Ned Yost saying still not a lot of change yet, and as I mentioned to you guys yesterday, or to HUD, to you and Ryan yesterday, they're not going to push him. They're not going to mess with that hamstring. And HUD, you said that's a spot in the body that can lie to you a little bit, so they're going to be careful.
Yeah, but I love seeing him doing some really short work out there, stopping, turning, doing some things like that. That look, if that hammy was grabbing him at all, he wouldn't be doing that. So this is a good sign to see Locaine out there just easing in.
And it was interesting, most of the work that he took with Rusty was in right field, not center field.
Well, they obviously have plans, and they might want him to play out there in right field when he comes back. Any field will be good to have Locaine in it.
There's a line drive base hit to right field by Tyler Naquin. First time either team has had their leadoff man on. Sandy Alomar, the first base coach, talking with Naquin, who was a first-round pick in 2012 out of Texas A&M.
Naquin's fit in nicely with their team. Young rookie hitting over 300. 10 homers. This guy's finding his stroke.
Now Roberto Perez. He's the young man who broke his right thumb and ligament damage. Had a play at the home plate back on April 30th. That was in a game at Philadelphia. And he is squaring to bunt, but then takes a ball. Cuthbert will stay in at third. Hosmer, of course, holding Naquin at first, and Tyler does have 3 steals this year.
That's been caught once. You might want to play it safe. Perez not having many at bats, just see if he can move him over. See if he does it again.
Decided to swing, and Volquez has a 2-0 count. Now Roberto Perez is one of those rare guys who doesn't play that much and yet extremely patient. A lot of guys coming off the bench, they want to swing the bat. He had 33 walks last year in only 70 games, and not all of those 70 were starts.
Got some plate discipline.
3-0. This is a guy they need to get, because you turn the lineup, Santana, Kipnis, Lindor, Napoli all have been hot. They are looming. Ball 4. Join the Royals and local business professionals for Business Day at the K this Wednesday, presented by Tierney Office Products. The event will feature a pregame presentation by Royals General Manager Dayton Moore, networking opportunities and snacks, and then, of course, stay to cheer your Royals on as they take on these Indians. Visit royals.com/business for more information and to purchase tickets for this great event. 2 on, nobody out. Can't let the bottom of the order beat you, and the 8-9 guys get on, and here is Santana, who has always hurt the Royals. .331 average at Kauffman Stadium with 13 home runs in this ballpark.
Well, he didn't swing the bat at all his first time up. Got him on 3 straight strikes. Just taking the whole way. He's looking to pull here. Good pitch there by Volquez. 2-seamer, hard and firm. That's what he gave him first time through. Overall, Cleveland Indians hitting .253 with runners in scoring position as a team. Carlos Santana hit .264. .253 is middle of the pack in the American League.
And Rex,
nothing real special.
I'm not predicting. I'm just telling you information. There have been 4 triple plays turned this season. 1 by the Milwaukee Brewers, 3 by the Chicago White Sox, which is absolutely unbelievable.
Really?
Why not won by the Royals?
Are you calling a triple play?
No,
Fizz?
I said I'm just handing out information.
That would be a beautiful thing. Easiest one is the two hopper to Cuthbert at third. Steps on the bag and goes around the horn. Now I don't know. Santana, he's a full hitter.
You were the middleman in a 5-4-3 double play turn when Jim Abbott was on the mound.
I remember that in Minnesota.
Yep.
The scary thing was is I thought my out was the third out, and I'm going, oh no, what am I going to do? And I just turned it over anyway and ended up being a triple play.
You're a liar because I did the game and you snapped it over there very quickly.
Oh man, that was nerve-wracking. But Edison trying to be careful. Three for 19 is Santana with a couple of homers in his career off of Volquez. Dead pull. A little bit of center. That works, but he's looking to turn and burn. 20 home runs out of your leadoff hitter. Not too shabby. The reason he's hitting up there this year is Francona likes his on-base percentage. The fact that he walks. Able to get on, set up the table. Could see him casting, trying to pull that, casting with his top hand. Coming around and trying to hit that hole. Merrifield, he's way over.
Yeah, he doesn't have the kind of swing that he's going to hit it to the third baseman like you talked about.
No. See how he's really throwing that top hand out there, trying to pull it.
That'll get out of play.
He's grounded into 8 double plays this season, Santana. Volquez has induced 9.
Royals have received good starting pitching after the break, despite losing 2 of 3 in Detroit. Kennedy, Duffy, and Ventura only gave up 7 total runs in 18 2/3 innings. In the air, left side. Alex positions his body to make the throw to third and brings it to Escobar. No advance.
Here's a lane ball candidate. He leads the team in grounding into double plays with 12. Kipnis.
Naquin singled, Perez walked. Strike 1. Hot day in Kansas City, cooling off right now. Sun setting in the west, so a lot of fans in the shadows. Comfortable for the kids. Try to get him to chase that curve. And our current temperature 90 degrees, but feels like 97 if you're in the sunshine. So just that little corner up there, Hud.
Yeah. Hey, look. It's toasty.
Steve Physioc, Rex Hudler, Joel, and Jeff Montgomery with you. That ball popped up left side, and Gordon's right there again. Barely had to move. 2 out. Well, Francisco Lindor came up with 2 out in the first inning and jumped it down the right field line. Just barely. Stayed fair.
Sure did. But I tell you, he stayed inside of that ball nicely with his bottom hand and that top hand release. Watch him. Gets a little bit of momentum going back. He's still got his weight on this back foot right here. And then as he steps, watch his head. The head stays right here even. He pulls it in. And watch the top hand release. Comes right off. Picture perfect. Beautiful swing.
Boy, he has had the Royals numbered in his young career. This is his first full season, but he came up midway last year and hurt the Royals in several games. Strike one. Our Kubota power stats show you that in his career, and certainly this year, now that he's hitting over 460 against KC this year, but 392 in his career.
Man.
And look at the extra base hits. 23 RBIs in 21 games. Are you kidding me?
He's a tough out. And this is just his second season in the majors. Tremendous talent. Hit third in a big league order.
To Escobar. That's quite a job by Eddie Volquez. 8-9 hitters get on. Nobody out. Santana, Kipnis, Lindor out. John DeAgostino are sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat. Now, Chris has worked with the Kansas City Fire Department for 20 years, serving at many stations throughout the city. Also a paramedic. He has delivered 2 babies while on duty, has worked many long hours, including with the Advanced Life Support Pumpers Program, and received a unit citation for a rescue. He worked at Worlds of Fun. Way to go, Chris.
Yeah.
And Sean has served the Grandview Fire Department for the last 10 years, known for his ability to remain calm and level-headed. This was most evident when another firefighter was trapped in a burning building, and he selflessly climbed a ladder and reached through the window to save him.
Fizz, love the detail on Chris and Sean. Fellas, thank you so much for what you do and continue to do.
Hey, Hud, you remember Cleo, who was in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat about a month ago?
Sure.
Cleo's like, I think 90, 91 years old, and we talked about her, and her story was amazing. And then both of us were leaving that night after the game, and we ran into Cleo, and we had such a wonderful experience. She sent us 24 eggs today. 12 for you and 12 for me. There's Merrifield to third, and it is a close play, but out at first.
Yeah, Cleo, we want to say thank you for thinking of us, but you know, to sit in that Buck O'Neil seat, what an honor that is. And it's a special part of the game here in the K. Whenever we have that guest, we love to talk about it. Now, Uribe, ball's moving. It's not an easy play, but this veteran, he knows he's done that many a times. Makes a nice play on a speedy runner.
Now Dyson. A little high for ball 1.
Gerard's been seeing high fastballs in his starts because they don't want him to hit the ball on the ground and use his speed.
Hits that one pretty well, and it's over the head of Lonnie Chisenhall. And Dyson off to the races. A triple for Dyson.
That's right. They pitch him up, look up, and don't miss it. Dyson, after taking that first pitch, sees another two-seamer. That's belt high, and he catches it with a good short swing. He had a little top hand release on that ball, and they were playing him shallow, showing him no respect. Now, if Chisenhall bobbles that or any kind of problem there, that could have been inside the Parker. But with one out, Dyson at third base, very important that they get this run home. Looks like the defense is going to play straight up the middle. They're going to play back. So any little ground balls in this direction right here can score that run. So Escobar wants to keep it away from the corners and use the middle of the field here and get that run home, even if it's on an out.
Strike one. Now, Escobar has been pretty good in this situation this year. He has scored that runner 11 out of 18 times.
Don't know how many chances you're going to get off a pitcher like Kluber, and his stuff looks good tonight.
Ooh, and he struck him out on that pitch to open at the bottom of the first.
See how he's on the side of that ball and he can spin it. He spins with the best of them. Puts it where he wants it.
And then he waves at one that was not a strike. 4 strikeouts for Kluber.
Well, he didn't want to, you know, he's not going to give you anything if he knows that you're going to swing at it. Why would he throw a ball down the middle for you? Well, he can sense it. He knows. Escobar thought the ball hit the ground, but it didn't.
How do you think they'll approach Eric Hosmer?
Well, they're going to be real careful with him here. You can see that little meeting they had with Roberto Perez, the catcher, coming out there.
Well, I think what Haas has to do is hit it out, take the lead. That way they only play 8.5 innings so he can go to a birthday party.
Well, Haas would like that now. Eric Hosmer does have 3 home runs in his career off of Kluber. They're going to tie him up, try to pitch him in.
Ball 1. Yeah, I get the feeling they don't want any part of him.
They're going to be careful with him, that's for sure. Now, Corey Kluber has thrown 4 wild pitches this year. No, so anything bouncing, Dyson will look to take advantage of it.
Yeah, he is no longer throwing to his good friend Yan Gomes on the disabled list.
Look at how far they're coming in on him. They want to anyway.
Haas' career against Kluber, 12 hits, including 3 home runs. Yeah, he knows now. In there. Looks like Haas was taken all the way.
Good spot. You can see outfielders. Naquin over here, he's playing him a little bit to the pull side. Now, most teams play Haas the opposite field in the outfield because he hits for most of his power to left center field. But because they're pitching him and they went over the meeting before the game where they're going to pitch him, they're playing him to pull. And you know, with Kluber and most of the starters on the Cleveland Indians, they can put that ball right where they want it. That's why they've been so good. These guys don't miss. And if they do, you got to make them pay. Carrasco. They got the best starting staff in the American League.
And he misses inside, almost an intentional walk to Hosmer, and the Royals will have runners on first and third. But the guy who led the team in RBIs last year is stepping to the plate in Kendrys Morales.
Well, you know, that's Kluber was smart there. He was pitching around one of the most productive hitters on the Royals lineup, so you got to like that. Now, and he also knows what Morales is doing against him, and not a whole lot. So He wasn't going to take his chances with Hosmer. Now, that's one of the reasons why you have Morales hitting behind Hosmer, because he's such a threat and he's got such a power bat that you want to give Hosmer protection. So you make him pay for it right here.
It looks like they got Kendrys Morales in the foot. He'll limp to first base as they got him on the back foot. And the Royals will have him loaded with 2 out for Salvador Perez.
That sounded a little funny, and sure enough, it was. It hit off of his toes. Ouch. So let's see now if the Royals can make him pay with 2 outs and him loaded up. Now the Royals this year, with the bases loaded, have had some difficulty. They're hitting 260, no slams, and not 1 extra base hit.
That I found surprising.
They've got to change that. So far this year with the bases loaded, just 13 for 50, all singles.
You know the other team struggling with the bases loaded? Cleveland, and they're in first place. 0-1. Perez hit a home run in the All-Star game to give Corey Kluber the victory. Kluber pitched the top of the 2nd inning, and then Hosmer and Perez went deep. Kluber got the win.
They don't really need an extra base hit. They would love to see it, but look, a lousy single would suit them fine.
And he punches that towards the first base side, but foul. That got right in on the hands, and I think Sal may have broken his bat.
It's a big point in the game for Kluber. He knows it. So he's talking it out with Perez, wanting to make sure that he tries not to make a mistake. But when you try to pitch fine like that and you're trying to aim it, sometimes you do make a mistake.
Salvador Perez has been swinging a good bat lately. 10 hits in his last 7 games, including 2 home runs. They were big ones in that Seattle series. Rolls it towards third. Long run for Uribe. His toss is in time, and the inning ends on a 5-3 ground out.
Nice job of wiggling out of it by Kluber.
first base coach Rusty Kuntz told me that at the All-Star game he was talking to Lindor, and he said, you know, I love the energy you guys have, the aggressiveness, the way you run the bases. Where did it come from? What was the change? And Lindor told Rusty, this is all because of Mike Napoli, the guy that's at the plate right now. He said he has been a lead by example guy. You need to pick me up, he'll give it to you. You need that little kick or that push, he'll be there for that. The hug, the call you out, whatever it might be, Mike Napoli has been a huge impact, made a huge impact on this team. And I like the story, guys. And they're a great play on the catch by Cheslor Cuthbert to rob Napoli. But Hud, you've seen this before. Opening day, 30 degrees. Guys are complaining that it's too cold. And Napoli comes out in the short sleeve shirt and says, this is ridiculous. I wish that it were even colder.
Yeah.
And he's from Florida.
That's right. Mind over matter. If you don't mind, it don't matter. Cuthbert says, you know what? Look, you hit it at me, you're out. Catches it on the fly.
He says it's way hotter than this in Nicaragua.
That's right. Although Cheslor, I was talking with him before the game today, and he said, it is a hot one today. Of course, in batting practice, you know, that heat index is up over 100.
You remember what it was like when they had artificial turf at Old Royal Stadium?
Oh, it was brutal.
Like 130 degrees.
Oh, maybe hotter even.
I remember Frank White showing me the bottom of his feet, and there were burn marks from his spikes. It was so hot.
Yeah, in St. Louis, Ozzie Smith and the boys used to stand in buckets and trays of ice because the metal spikes would burn right through the soles of their cleats and their feet, man. I've never seen that before.
You look like the kind of guy who would wear a cabbage leaf on his head. I saw some ball players do that.
Yeah, nah, that wasn't my style. But look,
you ate worms. Come on, it is your style.
Yeah, but if you steal a couple of bases and you're active in a game that's 140 on that turf, you're going to have some hydration issues, dehydration. I remember coming off the field, I was dizzy, and they put me in there and put those ice bags on my veins and my neck and my arms, and just needed to take a little chill pill because it's not healthy, that type of heat.
A full count with Volquez to Ramirez. Check swing did not go, and that's a base on balls second walk issued by Volquez. Fans, we want you to hang out with your friends at the K this Wednesday for only $10 with your school ID. And this is a great summer fireworks special every Friday home game at Kauffman Stadium from May through August. For tickets, go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. We do have a afternoon special on Wednesday, and that will be Ian Kennedy against Carlos Carrasco. Oh, 0-2.
Chisenhall coming into this game had the best average against Volquez of any of his other teammates at .429.
There's the hydration station.
Beautiful part of this ballpark here, that's for sure, especially on hot days like that. See those fountains going up, it just cools you off.
Remember when Cookie Rojas was here? He was telling the story when they finally went to the playoffs. He and Freddie Patek said, if we win, we're going to go jump in there. And they did. And he said, we didn't find out until later it was kind of dangerous.
Yeah, you know, that was great that Cookie came up here to visit with us for a little bit of time. Take us back to the early beginnings of the Kansas City Royals.
I tell you, he was a big part on their swing from just being a expansion team to being really good. His leadership, his toughness at second base, his clutch base hits. Runner he goes. Foul back. Oh, man. I tell you what, Ramirez almost killed himself at second base. That was one of the worst headfirst slides I've ever seen.
Ooh, man. Looks like he got a mouthful of dirt. Oh man, it's that, you know, it's that sliding pad on his left hand that when he started sliding, it got caught and it's got caught up underneath him and got a little taste of that Kaufman dirt.
He does not go this time, and the ball is swung on and lifted foul. Merrifield continues to sprint over, but it's well back in the seats. Game 1 of a 3-game series here at Kauffman Stadium. Then we'll welcome in Texas Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, followed by Mike Trout and the Angels. Center field, shallow. That ball will drop, and Ramirez read it well and will scoot all the way to third base.
Off the bat, there was no chance the Royals were going to field that one. That ball just dropped right in there. Ramirez with good speed had no trouble getting to third base. Little jam shot.
I told you Jose Ramirez hit 1 through 9 in the lineup. He even hit cleanup, and he said he was so excited about hitting cleanup that he got his phone out, took a picture, and texted it to his parents. See, I'm hitting cleanup for the first place Indians.
Yeah, it's impressive. Hey, but the kid, he's worked at it, Ramirez. Now look at Juan Uribe here. He's not going to be an easy out, even though he's struggled in situations like this. He's a swinger, man. He hacks. He's not up there looking for a walk.
This is his 15th big league season. Won a championship in 2005 with the Chicago White Sox. He was their shortstop for many seasons. Won another one with San Francisco and was with the Mets when the Royals beat them last year to win the 2015 Fall Classic. And a hit.
Two-time world champion. He's a nice addition. The rest of these guys, Mike Napoli has postseason experience. That's what you need, a couple of guys on your roster that have been there and done it. Francona knows that. Terry Francona, he's an established manager. He's a two-time world champion as well. He knows exactly what he needs for his team. And, you know, it's kind of makes you a little bit nervous with this guy managing the Tribe, how good they can be, and having been there before, he knows how to handle the late season slumps that happen to teams.
Foul. And right now he has his all-star left fielder Michael Brantley, who is probably the most dynamic offensive and defensive talent that they have on the disabled list, but he's rehabbing and could be back within the month.
Yeah, no, and they're taking it easy with him too. He's got 39 at-bats down there, so you know that's a lot of ABs. They're making sure that he's good and ready. They're playing at a high caliber without him. They want to make sure when they get him back, he's going to be their guy. So the team and you're a player, you love your manager Terry Francona. Watch this. Now, I've never seen a player get away with kissing the forehead of the field general, but man, that tells you a lot right there. Look at him. Oh, and he's returning the favor to his bat. That's beautiful.
Cuthbert, they get the out, but a run scores. It's 2-0 Cleveland.
That's not what Volquez wanted. He wanted to hit that ball a little bit more firmly. Volquez doing what he wants to, is keep that ball down. Can't control that. Uribe's 23rd double, or excuse me, RBI.
Naquin singled to right field on the first pitch he saw from Volquez in the 3rd inning. He was left stranded. He swings at the first pitch here. Strike one.
Volquez using that nice little curveball. Didn't have a lot of depth to it, but it was located just where he wanted it. Naquin got him a pitch inside and down in his first at bat and drove it to right field for a single.
Left that one up, but at 95 miles an hour, the best he could do is foul it back.
Naquin is another young player, kind of like what the Royals have had. Some guys that have come up and filled in. And Naquin, while Brantley's been out, he's been getting an opportunity. And Rajai Davis is the other outfielder. He's getting a majority of the reps.
Merrifield throws out Naquin, but a run scores and a ground out. It's 2-0 Cleveland. The Royals will have Alex Gordon, Chester Cuthbert, Paulo Orlando coming up. First on a Lindor home run, and then on a ground out when Cleveland scores first. They're mighty tough to beat. Our Academy leaderboard shows you that only the Cubs have a better record in the major leagues at 38-9 when they score first. The Indians at 41-12, but the Royals right behind. Well, the Royals also are a comeback team, and they'll have to do that tonight. Maybe starting with Alex Gordon here. Strike one.
Got their hands full with Corey Kluber. Looks to me like he's executing all of his pitches so far where he wants them. And he's got a lot of movement. The ball is not straight.
18 of the Royals' 46 wins have been come from behind efforts. Kluber, the one guy who has been a veteran in their starting rotation. He was in the All-Star game. We told you the winning pitcher there, but he won the Cy Young Award 2 years ago, winning 18 games with a .244 earned run average. And he strikes out Alex. Time for our sprint trivia. Name the 4 active American League players with 17 or more home runs in 9 straight seasons.
All right, now I like that. They'll put the question out there, and then they'll put one of the players on there for me. So that's a shoe-in. Mike Napoli. He's one of them.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure, but I figured our guys out.
Well, the most home runs that Napoli has ever had in one season was the 30 he hit for the Texas Rangers back in 2011. Cuthbert to right field and deep and over the head. Chisenhall brings it back, and Cuthbert's going for third, and Kipnis throw gets him. The Royals checking to see if Uribe did not snap the tag down in time.
Well, you know what? It was a good relay throw by Kipnis, but Chisenhall playing very shallow. Let's see if he got. I don't know. It's a tough angle there. Cuthbert, not a bad chance. Ball was hit well over Chisenhall's head. Chisenhall was shallow, so it took him a long time to get there, and they're going to replay this one. Did he get the hand in there?
I don't know if it's clear and convincing. The Royals will challenge, though.
Yep.
So
Look.
Cuthbert staying on third for now.
It's tough. Has it been? Now there's a different angle they're showing on the board here at the K. Now this is the angle here. Let's see if he doesn't get that hand in there before the tag. No tag yet. No tag. No tag. No tag. I don't know.
I don't know if it's clear and convincing.
Oh well, we'll have to see. But you know, like I said, tough Corey Kluber tonight. Chances of scoring from third base with less than 2 outs are much greater than scoring him from second base. So it wasn't a bad chance there by Cuthbert. This is going to be an interesting call here. Okay, check it out. Chisenhall one-hands it, turns and fires, doesn't crow hop, gets it in quickly. Kipnis takes it, fires a good overhand throw, a little bit high, and Uribe with the tag. And Uribe, you notice where he was, out in front of the base. That's what you want to do. You want to be out in front of the base here, so you get the ball quicker and you can apply the tag.
He's out. So the play goes 9-4-5, 2 outs. Yeah, I just didn't know if it was clear and convincing enough to have the guys in New York overturn it.
Yep, close. Ned.
We all feel that way, and not that way.
Big relay play, and it was fundamentally sound. Got him a pitch he could handle there. Talking with Dale Swain before the game. So Dale, how are they going to approach a Kluber? And he says they've got to lay off balls down. You see him up, get him up, and that's where you can put the ball in play and get the ball elevated. So we're swinging a lot of low pitches, and we can't lift those. We're hitting them at people, and we're swinging and missing. Ugh.
6 strikeouts now for Kluber, and he has shut out the Royals through 4. Lindor went deep with 2 out in the first inning, and Kluber 6 strikeouts in 4 shutout innings, and they've also made some marvelous defensive plays.
All right, Cleveland started with Lindor, first inning, third hitter. Volquez punched out the first 2, and then Lindor, he opened it up. And in the 4th inning here, Uribe hit a little chopper, a little 2-3 hopper. He got the out at first, but then was able to score Ramirez. That's where we stand.
So Roberto Perez, who walked, and Cleveland had runners on first and second in the 3rd inning, and then Volquez bowed his neck and got Santana, Kipnis, and Lindor all out. Didn't mean to do it, try to check his swing. Perez very patient, first time up. He was Cleveland's 33rd round pick in 2008 out of a junior college in Puerto Rico. Man, he has a good eye. Why has it been so tough to throw a strike to the number 9 batter?
I don't know, but you can see a little frustration in Volquez there in his body language. Just get back in count, go ahead and throw it now. Cleveland getting ready for the 3rd time through. Those are kind of caught him 3rd time through. Cuthbert got some time. Nice play.
Spins and 3-1 out.
Fires it. Good play.
Tiger fans join the Royals at the Cave for Mizzou night when the Rangers are in town this Friday. The first 5,000 fans who bring their Mizzou themed night ticket through Gate A will receive a special edition gray, black, and gold branded KC cap, which includes the Mizzou logo, courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City and Rally House. Visit Royals.com/theme tickets or call 1-800-6-ROYALS to get your tickets today. That's also fireworks night, so you get to see fireworks and wear a Mizzou cap. How about that baby?
Beautiful.
I wonder if this is her first baseball game.
Hope it is. Hope she can get us a win.
Santana struck out looking on 3 pitches in the 1st and then flied out with runners in 1st and 2nd. Nobody out in the 3rd. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And he has a 14-game hit streak. It's interesting, Hud. He is not your prototypical leadoff guy, but because of his keen eye and ability to get on base and an on-base percentage, Terry Francona has him at the top of the order.
Yep, he's 5th in the American League in walks, 50. I like him getting on base.
3-2.
Very selective. Nice routine play by Sandy Alomar.
Outside, ball 4. 3rd walk issued by Volquez. Our T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball. It's about Ichiro, who had a terrific game at St. Louis yesterday. Now 6 hits shy of 3,000 in his big league career. looking to become the 30th member. Now he's 0 for 1 in Philadelphia tonight. How about that?
Amazing. You know, he takes great care of himself. I knew that he had a chance to pile up some hits, but I didn't realize or think that he could get to 3,000 after playing 6 or 7 years in Japan. But you know, the Cardinal fans treated him like he was a home player. They were cheering for him. He said after the game through an interpreter that he really appreciated the Cardinal fans and them pulling for him, trying to reach that incredible feat.
You know, it's much like the Kansas City fans when Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown a few years ago, clinching it here at the K, and stadium roared. And there's a ground ball. Escobar, the whip, first, and a double play.
Yeah. 10th ground ball double play induced by Eddie. Nice. Hey, bottom of the 5th inning. Tribe still on top 2-0. All right, you young players out there, watch this tailor-made double play. Look at Escobar, shows him the ball, flips it over the base, expecting Merrifield to be there. First man, sure. Second man, quick. Got to make sure 1 before you can get 2.
And now Witt will lead things off in the bottom half of the 5th inning.
Good rip there on the slider out over the middle. Now here it is. See, let him see the ball. Whenever you're transferring that ball for a double play, take the ball out of your glove. The sooner that the guy that's catching the ball can see it, the better chances you have of turning 2. Don't try to hide it from him and be quick. Take it out and feed it to him, just like Escobar did. Routine.
Good take there on a teasing breaking ball away. Really love to see this young man get going again. Just 4 hits his last 33 times up.
Stay aggressive at the plate. He's dropped off some, but you know what though? He's finding out what it's like to be an everyday player in the majors. It's very difficult. See, when you're facing that top caliber, top shelf pitching every single night. Now defensively, he's been awesome, no matter where Ned puts it. But that whole thing about hitting is a whole different game. This is the time of night where it's twilight and the ball can get lost up in the sky with the fielders out there. Make sure when you hit one up there that you hustle hard. You never know.
Popped him up right side. Napoli will make the catch, and there's one out. Major League Soccer Sunday, sponsored by Audi, returns this week with a red-hot rivalry. Don't miss when David Villa and the New York City FC battle their crosstown rivals, the New York Red Bulls, at 11:30 in the morning on Fox, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go.
David
Villa.
Yeah, way to go.
He's good.
It's a nice little Spanish name you dropped out there, partner.
Gerard Dyson tripled his first time up. He was at third base with one out, but Escobar struck out. Hosmer walked. Morales was hit by a pitch to load the bases, and then Salvador Perez grounded out. Lindor, 2 out. Royals offense going quiet again, Hud.
Yep.
They're 3-10 their last 13 games, and 9 times in those 13 games they've scored 3 runs or less.
Yeah, that last at bat, you know, with Dyson at third base and Escobar up, you know, it was a situation there where he really wants to concentrate on a pitch out over the plate and not swinging his pitches, and Kluber got him to swing off the plate, not once but twice.
And I think the first pitch was the best pitch to swing at, and he took it for strike.
He normally swings at those.
And then he knocks this one back up the middle. That would have looked nice back in the third. He wasn't waiting around. You know, Escobar has not been running that much lately, and this would be a good time to go.
Sure would. The Royals running game has pretty much come to a halt.
Escobar with 12 stolen bases. But you wonder if they would pitch to Hosmer if he did steal second base. They send him if Hos gets 2 strikes on him. And that's knocked to right field. First and second.
Ball was tagged. Too bad he couldn't have got underneath that. And Escobar is right at him, so he had to freeze. He had to hold up. Don't want to get hit by the ball, or else he could have been to third base. But there's no need in pushing it with 2 outs.
Royals have an out to hit the Indians 5-3, but they trail it 2-0 on a Lindor home run in the first, and a walk, a single, and a ground out by Uribe.
Okay, last 2 Royals hitters aggressive early on Kluber, getting that fastball.
He threw a down and in slider to Kendrys Morales and hit him in the back foot his last time up. There's that back foot slider. 0-2.
It's just a little bit over anxious, wanting to do too much. You got to see it out of his hand, pick up the release point. Almost looked like he was swinging there.
And that was our Missouri Lottery Fox tracks.
We saw a lot of that early in the season with Morales. When he got hot, he started laying off of those pitches.
That one was left up a bit.
Man, and he's been getting beat up. Kluber hit him on the top of his foot last time up, on the top of his toes, and then he fouled that one off of him. Last at bat, it was his back foot. Now this is the top of his front foot. and there's no padding there. He's got the sides covered, but there's nothing right there on top. Lots of times after a hitter fouls one off his foot like that, that catcher sees that, and the pitcher, he'll put one back in that same spot again. See if he swings at it. That hurt him.
Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did, and that is a strikeout. And it's 7 now for Corey Kluber. We head to the 6th inning here in Kansas City with the Indians leading the Royals 2-0.
A little too aggressive.
Chrysler. Enjoy your summer in style with great deals at the Chrysler Summer Clearance Event. It turned out to be a beautiful evening here in Kansas City. Rather warm day. Even when the sun went down, the heat index was at 97 degrees. It's a great musical group that's featured about that, called Not a Planet.
That's right. Looks like one, though.
Sure does. Tommy went right after Francisco Lindor. Lindor took an inside fastball that was about belt high down the right field line for a home run in the first. Now he's coming back inside with a breaking ball, and it's a 1-2 count. Great pitch. Wow, good breaking ball down and in, swung over the top. Strike one. And that is out number 1 and strikeout number 4.
Yeah, excellent spot. You got to beat him. You got to beat him off of the plate. Started him out in there, and he finishes him off in there.
I'm still thinking about that spring question we asked. What is it? 4 big leaguers, 17 or more home runs. What do you think, David Ortiz?
That's a good guess. Bobby, how about
Edwin Encarnacion?
How about Alex Rodriguez?
Alex Rodriguez? Well, yeah, but Alex missed the 1 year because he was suspended.
That's right.
So I don't know if they would count that.
Beltran.
Outside corner perfectly located at the knees at 93. Napoli, that world championship with Boston, helped Texas to the World Series. And that ball sent down the line.
How could we not throw Miguel Cabrera's name out there?
You're exactly right.
Shame on us.
Because Mickey hit 18 last year, and it wasn't one of his bigger years.
No, Mike Napoli, dangerous. He goes, his home run powers to opposite field. Now he'll pull them. He likes, you see Volquez's pitch count there, not too bad. That's where he goes right there. And he's an excellent breaking ball hitter. So he thinks that direction, and if it's soft enough and up, he'll try to pull it. 15th double on the season. You can see this breaking ball, excellent low ball hitter. See the head position, didn't pull it one bit. He's thinking that way, looking that way. Just kind of feathered it out there, didn't take a huge swing. He went with the pitch.
Now Ramirez scored the last run with a walk, and later came around to third and scored on a Uribe's ground out. And he smacks one to left, but Gordon plays it well, makes the catch, 2 out. You know, fans, the Royals at Fox Sports Kansas City are offering a unique way for fans across the Midwest to enjoy a game at the K. It's the Forever Royal Fan Express. Fans in designated markets will have the opportunity to win a trip to the K, and the next stop is Columbia and Jefferson City on July 23rd. Go to Royals.com/Fan Express for more information. And we've talked to fans who have jumped on that, and they've had a blast and made some new friends. I know you've greeted them in the parking lot here at the K.
It's a blast. I'm hoping that the timing can work out again so we can jump on board that next one that comes.
Chisenhall singled to center field last time up, and he almost goes to one knee to reach for this breaking ball thrown by Volquez.
Well, the one category that the Indians can do a little bit better in, and that is clutch hitting. We talked about their .253 average with runners in scoring position earlier. That's 9th in the American League. Chisenhall's at .288.
In there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cleveland does know how to win, Hud. Last year was an off season. They went 81-80, but it was their 3rd straight winning year. You might remember just 3 years ago they won 92 games. 85 in 2014 and 81 last year. Swung on and missed. He went with that great curveball and got him to whiff over the top.
There you go, Eddie. Stay steady. Down. Back at the K, bottom of the 6th inning. The Cleveland Indians are staying on top of the Royals. The Royals, they need a big hit. Why not this inning for the Sonic Slam? 6th inning is our Sonic Slam inning with our contestant is Dwayne Mason from Lone Jack, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Dwayne will win $2,500. But if the Royals hit a grand slam, Dwayne will win 25 grand from the Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. How about setting the table, Salvi?
Good inning to give away some money.
Oh, how about it?
Lone Jack is on edge.
Dwayne needs a jack.
Strike one. A blooper towards right, but coming on quickly is Chisenhall for out number 1.
Notice how shallow Chisenhall is playing tonight. Now, the Royals have beat him a couple of times. Dyson hit a ball out there. Cuthbert did. But, you know, I think they're saying, you know, we'll challenge you to hit it over our head. But you can see how shallow he's been playing. So has Naquin. So they're going to take away any little doinkers in there.
And I saw the same thing with Kendrys Morales, a left-handed batter, or switch hitter batting from the left side, where the left fielder Ramirez was playing deep, but the right fielder very shallow.
Well, they're doing the same thing against Alex Gordon. Now they're playing him to pull on the ground, but they don't think he's going to hit it over their head at all. Shallow, and shallow is Naquin. I mean, 10 feet in.
That is hit to Ramirez. 2 out. Fans vote for the Royals Player of the Month at one of the 7 Rally House locations in the Kansas City metro area. All participants will be entered to win a majestic prize pack. Cuthbert certainly a candidate. He has improved every single month and hitting .333 coming into tonight's ball game, and he's 2 for 2. So we'll have to get Dave Holtzman to update his batting average in the month of July.
Meantime, our contestant Dwayne Mason from Lone Jack is looking for one.
Just one Lone Jack. Cuthbert now hitting .360 in the month of July. So he certainly is a Rally House candidate for Player of the Month. Sorry, Dwayne Mason.
Yikes. Next inning.
Brian Flynn will get his first start ever as a Royal tomorrow. Ned Yost naming the lefty his starter.
We know what we've got in Chris Young. We know what we have in Dylan G. And it's just, seeing what we got in Brian Flynn. He's been throwing the ball extremely well out of the pen, and we want to give him an opportunity to start.
It's been a long time since that, especially with the injury and everything. A long time since I've had a start. I've matured a lot since then, so I'm really ready for it.
So Brian Flynn, the Wichita State product and Oklahoma native, will get his first start as a Royal. In 13 games out of the pen, a 2.39 ERA. His last start in the big leagues, August 7th, 2014 for the Marlins. This will be his 6th career start.
Thank you, Joel. That ball struck towards left field, but hooking into foul territory. Is there room for Alex? No.
And to see Flynn in that dugout, that's good for him. Look, he got a smile on his face. He's not out in that bullpen. You know, there's nothing wrong with being in the pen, but every guy wants to be a starter, and he's excited about the opportunity.
And he's mainly been a fastball slider guy out of the bullpen, but he'll add the 2 other pitches that he has in his repertoire, and the curve and the changeup.
Yep. See what's working for him, but you know he wants early count outs so he can stay in long. He'll be on a pitch count. It's got good stuff. Hard sinker. Got to have something out of our 5th starter. It's been a struggle this year.
We've had Chris Young out there and Chris Medlin.
That's not working right there. 4-14 with a 7 ERA.
1 through 4 guys have done a respectable job. Quite frankly, Kennedy, Duffy, Ventura with 3 solid starts in Detroit. And the ERA under 3.5. Coach Haber has begun to toss down in the Royals pen.
Yeah, and Edison Volquez has done a nice job tonight.
2 runs in 6 innings.
What's wrong with that?
That's nothing.
Cleveland Indians are averaging right at 5 runs a game.
See, do you know when the Royals give Eddie 4 runs in a game, 4 runs or more? He is 21-3 as a Royal.
Yeah. Yeah. Guy getting runs. Every pitcher will tell you that.
Like it got Jeff Nelson, the crew chief.
Yeah, it did. Got it good too.
Doug Eddings is at first base, Ryan Blakeney at second, and Corey Blazer at third base. And Salvi gave Jeff as much time as he needed to recover by going out and visiting with Volquez, and that's why Jeff didn't go out and break it up. There is the quartet here. Uribe takes low, and it's a 3-2 count. This is a rather patient Indians team. They started the night walking 83 times more than Kansas City. We've seen a few long balls struck foul off Volquez off of that curve or changeup.
Yeah, and Uribe, he's sitting dead red. He's looking to pull. I mean, he's everything. Doesn't matter, but he wants that heater. 3-2. He's thinking he's going to get it, but he's getting closer and closer. But I mean, be careful. You can't just groove it. Oh.
Boy, Alex got a good jump on that one.
Yeah, he nailed it. He was right on it. You could tell he was honing in, getting closer and closer. But Alex with a nice running catch. Nice straight line, good jump on the ball, right over his head. Turned that left shoulder and went right to it. Nice play. Volquez and Uribe, look at that. He's saying, you missed it. Now go grab some pine.
Naquin has swung at the first pitch in all 3 at bats. He lined a single to right field his first time up. And after swinging and missing at the first pitch in the 4th inning, he would later ground out. The runner in scoring position, 1 for 2. Rolls this one to Merrifield. 2 out. Panera takes us around the league as we check out some scores around baseball. New York has beaten Baltimore. Beltran 3 for 4 with a double. Detroit a final over Minnesota. Upton with a solo home run in the 2nd inning, and it holds up. And Chicago beat New York 5-1 with Rizzo going deep with a 3-run home run. So the Cubs, who had an 8-game lead over St. Louis, win their 56th game, and they're back to 20 games over 500.
Fans trying to help Volquez get through this 6th inning.
Or the 7th.
Excuse me, 7th. Just checking, looking at Volquez. Remember that terrible start he had June 24th against Houston, where he didn't get out of that 1st inning. This is his 4th straight start now with at least 6 innings.
That was a game where he said, I just could not command the baseball. I couldn't throw it anywhere where I wanted to.
Everything was up.
How about that off speed? Wow. Perez almost jumped at the baseball and fell across home plate. Ooh, yeah.
That's a good spot there. Right down the middle. Had a little wrinkle on it.
He has thrown 109 pitches. You give up 2 runs in 7 innings, you should win. Royals offense has been quiet.
You know, it's been low stress these innings here in the 110 pitches now. I mean, he hasn't been in a lot of trouble. He's kind of doinked him here. Uribes. Now Lindor's was not a doink. Lindor, he connected for his 11th home run. 1st inning. 3rd hitter of the game.
Full count at 3-2.
Right here, Eddie wants to challenge him. Just 2-seamer out over the middle. If he hits it, hope you hit it at somebody. But don't walk him, because Ned's on the verge of coming and getting
it. He struck him out.
There you go.
Terrific job by Edinson Volquez. 7 innings, 2 runs allowed. Now the Royals offense needs to attack Kluber.
Nice job.
Excellent game by Edinson Volquez. He made one mistake, and that is our Dodge drive of the game. The third batter he faced tonight came inside to Francisco Lindor, and this is what happened.
Yeah, you know what? That ball was on the inner half, but it was elevated. Now, Salvi wanted it down about 3 inches more, but just quick hands. You got to credit Lindor. That early in the game, Volquez already, we talked about allowing 15 runs in the first inning this season. That one mistake, but everything else is good. Dave Eiland has got to be pleased with the outing, and like I said, that's a 4th straight outing now. He's gone 6+ innings after that June 24th game against Houston, where he didn't get out of the first.
Meantime, Kluber, last time he was at Kauffman Stadium, he gave up a career-high tying 8 runs in a 9-4 loss. Well, he has pitched shutout baseball through 6. He's at 80 pitches. Strike 1.
Paulo wanted that. He normally is aggressive early. Got him a pitch up. It's exactly what Dale Swain wants out of his hitters against Kluber. Hasn't been happening. They've been missing. And a little bit too aggressive on Kluber, swinging at pitches that aren't their pitches. And this is not good news if he continues on this trend here. 3rd time through the order, just a 202 average.
I mean, their rotation's fantastic. All 5 starting pitchers, Hud, in the top 20 ERA.
Yep, there's no let up. Offense is going to be tested.
And that was not a strike.
Nope.
He now has 130 strikeouts this year. The AL leader is David Price with 141. He's tied with Justin Verlander with 130 for 3rd after Price and Archer. Here is Merrifield, who's 0 for 2 with a ground out and pop up.
Whitley's been aggressive his first several swings against Kluber all night long. Ground out to the 3rd baseman, and it'll pop up to the 1st baseman.
That was there for him and just did not square it up.
Yeah, and he's just a click behind. Plus it was elevated, but that's the one they want to look for. That's exactly what Dale was talking about before the game. See it up, but you can't miss them.
Teased him away. Same pitch, pretty much the same location, just inches off the plate.
Kidding me? His command, he puts it exactly where he wants it.
Lindor, 2 out. Our AT&T high-speed replay. It's Gerard Dyson back in inning number 3 when he hit one over the head of Chisenhall.
Yeah, there it was. Shallow outfielder, hustling hard, playing to it, keeping Dyson from an inside the park home run.
Foul. The only taxing inning was the first when he threw 22 pitches.
Yeah, but you know, talking about his command, he just walked 2 tonight. That was Morales in the first inning and Hosmer in the third inning, and he pitched around both of those guys. Especially Hosmer in that situation with Dyson at third base. Tells you he's able to put that ball exactly where he wants it. He only threw Hosmer 1 strike in that entire at bat, but the rest of them were way off and in. That's the whole key to pitching. It's all about location, command. It helps if you have some velocity and you can blow it by guys when you do make a mistake. But if you don't make any mistakes and you're hitting your spots and you're spinning that ball just where you want it, you're not going to hit it. Now the Royals have helped Kluber tonight by swinging at some bad pitches. There's no doubt about it. But you know, you got to credit Kluber too. He doesn't have to throw him a strike. He's not going to.
Well, Dyson works a 2-out walk. Only the 3rd walk issued by Kluber in 6 2/3 innings. Now the tying run will come to the plate in Alcides Escobar. And fans, we don't want you to miss the 4th round of T-Shirt Tuesday tomorrow, when the Royals host Cleveland. The first 10,000 fans at the gates receive a T-shirt featuring a Forever Royal pennant presented by Phillips 66. To see all T-Shirt Tuesday designs and get tickets, visit Royals.com/T-Shirt Tuesday.
Escobar up. Dyson at first base has speed. Why not go? 2 outs. Take a chance.
Dyson, they say, out at second base, but will the Royals challenge? The Indians are running off the field. And Ned Yost said, not so fast. But the Royals did lose their challenge, although we're in the 7th inning. And
hey, look.
Let's have a couple of looks.
Yeah, you know what? The Royals are going ahead and pressing. Did he get that tag on? He did. He got it on him. And Roberto Perez coming out, throwing out a base runner and Gerard Dyson. Good throw. To you by your local Kansas City area Chevy dealers. Visit us for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. By Panera Bread, food as it should be, with 24 Kansas City metro locations. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low price, every day. Here at Kauffman Stadium, Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery, and Luke Hochevar coming on. He is our Chevy call to the bullpen. Strike 1. Volquez turning out a nice outing. 7 innings pitched, just 4 hits, couple runs. Hoch taking over, just shut him down. Hold her there. Big curveball, cut fastball, 4-seam fastball. mid-90s when he's working it. Hoch will take that one, even though it's a little bit more painful out than he would rather have gotten. But look, at least the ball didn't carry him off of him, and he had to run hard and tried to throw out Santana. But I think he's going to be all right. Let's see where it got him. Little one hopper right off of the left shin, looked like underneath the knee. Picks it up. So how about Phillips 66? What's left in the tank? Bullpen, last 11 games, hasn't been a lot in the tank. Hoping they can fill it up, get back out there and shut those opponents down, because that's the strength of their game. You know, the Royals at bullpen, they're not used to them springing a leak.
And Kipnis with his first hit of the night, so he is 1 for 4. And Hochevar will have to face Francisco Lindor. Lindor with the home run in the first and grounded out in the third and struck out against Volquez in the 6th. Volquez 2 runs allowed in 7 innings of work, 6 strikeouts. That home run by Lindor was his first in his last 18 games. Now he rolls this back to Hoch. They've got 1.
There you go. Now they're starting to fill the tank back up. Routine. He'll comebacker.
Over Kansas City, and it's time for our premier Mazda game break. Justin Upton went deep. That was the only run needed, and the Tigers 1-0 victory over the Minnesota Twins. Matt Boyd pitched awfully well for the Tigers in that one, going 6 shutout innings, but Upton's homer won it. And there's a look at the American League Central. The Royals right now 8 games back of Cleveland, but they need to rally to cut it to 7, because the Tribe came in awfully hot, even though they had lost 7 of 12 since that brilliant 14-game win streak. And
a little something going on here.
Yeah, that was odd. He started to warm up.
Yeah.
And then, I think maybe got a cramp in his right calf.
That's exactly what it looked like. Yep, he's done. Well, he's smiling, so that's what that was, is a cramp. When that happens, anything else, another injury can occur, especially when you have a leg injury. Look at him, he's saying, I'm tight, and it's cramping. And with this kind of weather, I'm not surprised.
Well, we have a Chevy call to the bullpen. We'll be right back.
Royals baseball is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit us at yourmidwestforddealers.com.
Corey Kluber came out of the ball game because of that cramp in his right calf, and I'm sure the Royals are glad to see him leave after he shut them out for 7 innings and really looked solid. 8 strikeouts. Here's the winning pitcher in the All-Star game. There's Mickey Callaway, pitching coach.
You can't mess around. You get a cramp like that, and it bothers you, and you keep throwing through that, you're going to develop another little owie somewhere else, and it could be in your arm, and that's not good.
And this is an area where Cleveland must improve if they're going to win the Central and move on in postseason. Their bullpen is rather average. And Ryan Shaw, who's a setup guy, a 3.72 ERA.
So they could be a buyer for a reliever out there. Never know. Shaw, cut fastball. He'll go mid-90s, low to mid-90s. Cuts that fastball, slider, curve, and a change in a funky arm angle. He throws across his body.
Salvador Perez solved him back in June, though, and that was a big home run that allowed the Royals to come from behind and beat Cleveland when they swept the Tribe in 3 straight. Salvi will be coming up 4th in this inning.
I mean, he is a cutter throwing pitcher. I mean, he has a lot of natural cut, but then when he wants to, he can make it look like a big curve. There it is there.
And with the drop on it, Hud, it's surprising to see it at 94 miles an hour.
It's got like a lot of that's natural action.
Off the glove to Uribe. No chance. And the tying run is coming up.
How many times have we seen those type of base hits turn into rallies? Maybe the Royals have something left here late. The minute he touched that ball with his glove, there was no chance for Uribe to score Escobar as he smelled that knock. Any way you can.
Shaw has given up 7 home runs this year, 3 to left-handers. Oh, 1.
They're going to try to cut him inside, tie him up so he can't get his arms extended. 2 for 5 with a double in his career against Shaw. Outfield playing shallow in center field and right like they have the entire game.
Back up the middle. First and second, nobody out.
And no chance to advance Escobar to third because of Naquin playing so shallow.
But how about this, Hud? With these guys on, Morales would be coming up, but apparently Kendris, with that ball struck off of his front foot, Morales will not bat, and it's Christian Colon. Eibner was in the on-deck circle, was ready to walk up, but they've chosen Colon to probably drop the bunt.
That's probably what they're thinking, Fizz. They had Eibner out there to see if he could maybe pop one out of the ballpark, but now that they, this is not very many times in the American League do you use a pinch hitter because of the designated hitter. But Morales having something going on, I believe it probably could be that top of that foot, because Fizz, there's no protection, and he fouled that ball directly off of his right foot. And so now Colon's coming in. Obvious situation here. That Colon, not known for his power, but he can do the little things.
He does not have a sacrifice hit this year, but hasn't played that much. Here is that foul ball struck off of Kendris' front foot.
Now, we're not exactly sure this is it, but this is a good reason for it. Ouch. You don't have your feet, you got nothing. So let's see what they're going to do here. If you're a hitter, you got to have that base.
Colon, 2 sacrifices in his career.
Get the first one. Get the first one down. It doesn't have to be a strike. Just bunt it and get it out of the way. Uribe, he's in. Ideally, with the first baseman crashing, you want the third baseman to field the ball. That would vacate third and get them take the out. So try to drop it right a little bit right there, right on that third base line there. Make him come get it. Not too close to the pitcher.
Outside 2-0.
And normally you're going to get a lot of fastballs in that situation because it's the toughest pitch to bunt. Any slider, cutter, those balls going down, it already helps the hitter get the ball on the ground.
He's swinging away, and he drives it to center, and look at this! Escobar scores! Here comes Hosmer. Colon is going to third, and he will be out.
Oh, man, what a deep. Had him believing he was bunting the whole way. 2-0, got him a pitch, and he drove it, and it surprised the center fielder Naquin. When Colon made contact with that ball, Naquin was in shock, the center fielder, playing shallow. We talked about it. Look at this, the old butcher boy. That's a beauty. In timely fashion. Cutter down the middle, thought he was getting a bunt, and he turns on it. Ties the game. That is a pinch hit deluxe.
But were the Royals too aggressive with nobody out?
He should have held at second base. There's no question about it.
Salvador Perez pops it up.
They got him by a mile at third, but look, you know what? The damage has been done. They'll take it.
So a terrific at-bat by Christian Colon, who with a positive count.
Now, he didn't look at Jershely when he's running. Watch him now. His play's in front of him here. He's making this decision up on his own right here, and he's just made the wrong decision because they got him by plenty. If he stays at second base, the Royals have a bigger chance with the meat of their order coming up. But look, for your first pinch hit of the season, to have a big hit like that on a butcher boy, that was beautiful. And he doesn't have a sacrifice bunt all year. The element of surprise got the tribe there.
2-0 count to Alex Gordon.
How about that?
Maybe Shaw a little distracted. He's had trouble at Kauffman Stadium. We told you about the game in June where Salvador Perez hit the home run that beat him in the 8th. And now he's fallen behind Gordo 3-0.
You know, it's interesting. Had Colon sacrificed him successfully, the first base would have been open. They probably would have put Salvador Perez on. But not going to happen now. Colon already did the damage.
You swinging away here?
Why not?
Absolutely. Outside, though, ball 4. The right-hander is up in Cuthbert. Callaway's going to visit Shaw. Royals with 3 straight right-handers, Cuthbert, Orlando, and Merrifield. There is a right-hander warming in the Indians bullpen. And it is Cody Allen who has just started to warm up. And remember, Cody Allen is their closer. But Zach McAllister, it's Jeff Manship, I beg your pardon. It's not Cody Allen, it's Jeff Manship. But this is, we usually, Rexby, a Zach McAllister situation, but he's at the DL.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen a butcher boy, that's what they call that, fake bunt and pull back and hit, like I saw Colon just now. I mean, you see that once in a while, but man, by a pitcher, but never in a situation like this late in the game, in an important game. This game 1 of 3. And Colon just masterfully drove that ball over the center fielder's head. Beautiful. Don't stop there.
Strike to Cuthbert, who is 2 for 3 with a single and a double. Now Chisenhall not nearly as shallow as when Cuthbert doubled over his head back in the 4th. Uribe really tight to the line at 3rd, playing no doubles. Big swing. 1-2. Alex goes. The pitch is a check swing. He did not go, so it's a steal for Gordon.
How about that? The Royals steal just their 5th base in the last 21 games.
So they need a single to take the lead. Ooh, barely missed outside.
Chesler hitting .286 with runners in scoring position has Terry Francona a little bit nervous here. Cutter's off the plate. Cuthbert can look opposite field. Alex needs to get a good secondary lead here. Good rip.
Boy, he had a full rip on a 3-2 count, too.
Sure did. And it was there, too. It was a cutter right down the middle. He missed it. Man, that's the one. Ooh. Cuthbert with a nice average with the runner in scoring position, and Paulo Orlando has hit .377 with runners out there. So the guys Ned's got coming up or have some
Everybody
good
in Kauffman Stadium is hoping he'll come out to protect the lead in the top of the 9th. Number 17, Wade Davis. Gordon represents the go-ahead run. Well, he's a good battler. 30 RBIs by the rookie. Remember, he missed the first month of the season. Called up when Mike Moustakas went out with that knee injury.
Chisenhall in right has 4 outfield assists. Naquin has 1 in center.
Chisenhall is shallow. Just barely missed outside. Back-to-back walks to Gordon and Cuthbert. How much longer is Terry Francona going to go with Shaw? No, he's not. So it will be Jeff Manship coming out for Cleveland. But the Royals have come back to tie this game. Royals have tied it dramatically after Lindor gave them the first inning lead. Kluber went 7, came out of this inning with a calf injury, and Christian Colon tied it up. That 2-run double on the Butcher Boy.
Well, you know, that's a couple different terms are used in the game for it. Whenever you square around like that, okay, you call it slug bunt or a Butcher Boy. Pull it back, short compact swing, and then shock the house, especially the center fielder Naquin. He had no idea that Colon was going to hit one out there. After squaring the bunt the first 2 times, he pulls it back and shortens it up and hits a drive. Naquin was shocked. He's thinking he don't even know how to get to the ball. He's thinking, wow, what? How did that ball get shot out there? What a pinch hit. And the first of the season for Colon.
Now Jeff Manship, who has been tough on right-handers this year. Righty's only batting 190, and more impressive of late. In his last 11 games, opponents 3 for 28.
Well, he's similar to Shaw. He throws a cut fastball, and he'll sink his fastball curve and a good slider. So a lot of pitches going away from Paulo here. Now the Royals have outscored their opponents by 29 runs in the 8th or later. And that's a wide margin of runs, so they get a lot of their runs late, especially here at the K in front of this energetic, beautiful crowd.
Line drive, base hit, left field. Here comes Gordon. The throw to the plate. Safe!
Paulo Orlando had the plate covered. They want to stay away from him. He left it on the outside part of the plate. He knew it was coming. He hooked it. He said, forget about right field. The game's on the line, and I'm the guy. That's right. Hitting .377 with runners in scoring position. Right man, right spot. Ramirez, great throw. Alex, better slide.
Boy, he tried to drop his knees down, but Alex went right around him and was able to slap that left hand down. Orlando went to second base on the throw. Yeah,
there's a little bit of late life, and we talked about it earlier when Escobar got that base hit, infield hit off of Shaw's glove. How many times do we see Royals come back and they start rallies like that?
Merrifield takes outside, 2-0.
Hosmer with the base hit. And then Colon shocked the house with tying it up with that Butcher Boy double.
Center field, right field, shallow. 3-0.
Yeah, look, get greedy, 2 outs. Add on, give the waiter a little bit of insurance.
I mean, 3-0, green light. Who cares? First base open.
Why not?
Now, if it's your pitch, what are you saying? Middle in?
I'm going right back up the middle with it if I'm convicted to swing 3-0.
No, I was thinking where the location of the pitch, if it's you, where you want it, middle in or?
Middle in, but you know what though, Fizz, I'm 56 years old, man. I couldn't do nothing with that right now.
I'm talking if you're Whitley.
Okay, Whitley, yeah, he'd like to drive one middle in, but he's better middle away. He likes to go
That's
that opposite
why I
field.
asked.
All right, you're getting me worked up. Take the walk.
Outside, ball 4, bases are loaded for Jarrod Dyson. 3 walks in the inning. 1 scored off Francona, a painful one. Gordon scoring on Orlando's hit. The Royals trailed 2-0 coming into the bottom of the 8th. Single by Escobar, single by Hosmer, double by Colon to tie it. Walk, walk, hit, walk, and here's Dyson, the 9th man to bat in the inning.
Remember, Royals don't have an extra base hit this year with the bases loaded.
They may now. Look at this. Down the line. Grand slam. Are you kidding me?
And great.
Hud, you had just said they haven't had an extra base hit with the bases loaded this year.
They're the last team in the majors. They're the last team in the majors to not have an extra base hit, and it came at a perfect time. Talk about that insurance. Wow.
Well, they're playing We Will Rock You, and they sure will. And here is an innocent ground ball to third, but who cares? The Royals score 7 in the 8th to go from 2 down to 5 up.
Violet the Bombardier. Violet the Bombardier. Open up those doors.
What a big swing by a little guy with speed.
Sure was nice. And great timing for your first career grand slam. Royals up by 1, looking for some insurance. Last team in Major League Baseball that hasn't got an extra base hit with them loaded.
Look at Haas.
look at the two stars on the Royals. They're digging Jarrod Dyson's piece of work there.
There is joy in Mudville. The mighty Dyson went deep. And Davis will sit down. Chris Young now with a 5-run Royal lead. He'll get the call, and Mike Napoli is the batter. And there is strike 1.
Ooh,
and
man.
Napoli jawing at home plate umpire Jeff Nelson. Sure, they're chap.
Dyson's last home run was last September 6th. Against the White Sox.
That struck pretty well. But Paulo Orlando's pretty fast, and he runs down Mike Napoli's drive. You know, we asked that sprint trivia question earlier tonight. 4 American League players active with 17 or more home runs in 9 straight seasons. Mike Napoli, of course, one of those guys, and Miguel Cabrera we were talking about being another. We did not mention Evan Longoria. We did mention David Ortiz week, so we got 3 of the 4. And Evan's got like 20 or 21 home runs. I know he had a 2 home run game yesterday.
Yep. What a beautiful thing to have power.
Well, once again, it all begins with a quality start. And Edinson Volquez will not get the decision, but he kept the team in so they could have that incredible 7th. There's a line drive to center field by Jose Ramirez. 1 on.
Well, you know, we talked about the great starting pitching of the Cleveland Indians, and they are great. But the bullpen, some question marks on that pen. And for those excellent starters that are all sitting right there, standing there watching, you know, got to have some trust at the back end of that bullpen, or they won't win.
Lonnie Chisenhall 1 for 3. That was a single back in the 4th inning. Royals with 7 runs on 10 hits. Indians 2 runs, 6 hits.
Chris Young, slider down, slider fastball, keep her down. Chien-Ming Wang up just in case Young can't find his rhythm.
And Young's one of those guys, if you see him just once, he's really been difficult, because he gives you that down angle from 6'10".
Yeah, now Young, look, he's got 66 strikeouts in 61 innings
exactly
this year, so he's serviceable out of that bullpen. He's trying to find it right now, though. I don't know if Ned Yost is going to wait around for him either.
Chisenhall taking. It's a 3-1 count. Chris was one of the Royals' top pitchers in their World Championship season last year, both as a starter and reliever. That ball whistled down the right field line and will get to the corner. Ramirez racing to third. They will hold him there. It's a double for Chisenhall. And I just saw Dave Island move down towards the bullpen phone. Wade Davis is back up.
Well, you know, you would think that this is a good time and a good situation to get Young in the game. 5-run lead. Want to get him some work. But it's just not working so far here. Now he's got an out, and that ball was hit deep to the 387 mark in right center field. Paulo tracked it down. I don't know.
Well, that certainly was to allow Wade Davis to get ready, just in case they need to bring him in a save situation. That's why those tack-on runs so important. The Royals took that 3-2 lead and they pushed it to 5 on a grand slam home run. But quite frankly, if it's a one-run game, Davis is already out there.
Right. But insurance is important.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. But no one expected a grand slam from Jarrod Dyson.
Fouled off of Salvi. Royals trying to cut that Cleveland lead to 7 games.
I caught a little bit of the shoulder and the mask. Better than getting a direct shot to the mask.
Boy, he's always in a good mood. Picking everybody up. Communicating with the umps, so important. Run will score, but Merrifield will get the second out. Tyler Naquin will step to the plate. One area where the Royals have the edge over the Indians is the bullpen. Royals with a team ERA of 3 is their bullpen, and that's tops still in the American League. The Indians 6th, 3.38. Two balls and no strikes to Tyler Naquin.
Fans are getting a little bit restless here. They're got their "Let's Go Royals" chant after a huge 7-run 8th inning. Young
right there.
Get back in that count.
His best pitch is a slider, but he needs to be in front. How about that? Good fastball, and Naquin swings right through, and it's a 3-2 count, 2 out. Man at third. Royals by 4. Just low. And here comes Ned Yost. And this will be a save situation for Wade Davis. We'll be right back. Royals lead it 7-3. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Club. Wade Davis comes on for his 20th save this year. Marvelous ERA at 1.19, and he will face a pinch hitter, and Abraham Almonte, who just came off the suspended list. He was suspended for 80 games for PED use. Ball one.
Davis, 4-seam straight fastball. He'll go reach up to 97. He's got a cut fastball. He'll throw a little bit, maybe around the mid-90s, sometimes a little bit lower. A big overhand curveball.
The runner takes second base, but the Royals don't care. No steal, indifference. The only man that matters is the guy on deck, and that is Carlos Santana. Popped it up. Perez back. Can he get there? Yes, he does. And this huge homestand begins with a huge comeback.
Waiter, check please.
Dyson with a grand slam home run. The Royals with a 7-run eighth. Davis with his 20th save. And how about this great play by Salvador Perez?
Man, I'll tell you what, he hustled after that. He wanted it in the worst way. He says, well, you know what, no more pitch. Let's put an end to this game. Look at that, what an end of game. Got
Fans
dirty.
love him.
Why not?
He is something.
How about that late heroics? Again, 18th come from behind win by the world champs.
Well, it started with Corey Kluber leaving the game because of the cramp injury.
Yeah.
And that swung the momentum.
Sure did. 7th, coming out for the 8th inning, had 95 pitches thrown. Okay, then there it goes. Escobar gets it going with the little infield hit. How many times we've seen that? Hosmer follows up with a lousy single. Now, this is the play of the year so far. The Butcher Boy. How about that? That was so clutch by Colon. And we all know he can come through in the clutch, which was evident last year in the World Series win against the Mets. And Paulo Orlando, he's the one who hit the go-ahead RBI here. Alex Gordon with a great slide late, got it in there. Here they come, and then they weren't done. How about some insurance? Jarrod Dyson's first career grand slam, and the first time all year with him loaded up. The Royals got an extra base hit. How about that? Call the cops. It's been beautiful.
You're having fun. Well, Joel is with 2 of the stars.
Yeah, guess who those stars are? Jarrod Dyson, Christian Colon, and I think Rusty Kuntz just said that's what power do. Jarrod Dyson, first career grand slam. Tell me about that swing. How'd that feel?
Felt great.
I agree. Anyway, tell me about that grand slam.
You know, I didn't expect it to go out. Come on, man.
Here, go ahead.
No, I wasn't expecting that type of result, but I'll take it. I'll take it. But
Hey, keep on going.
no, it was a great win for the team. You know, everybody did a job.
How'd it feel? How'd it feel?
Feel good, baby.
I mean, go ahead. If you want to ask him something, by all means, go ahead.
No, I did.
All right, you got it. You don't leave yet. It's a big moment for you. It's your first home run since last year, your first grand slam. The people want to love on you here.
I love the people, too.
All right, last question, then we'll get to CC here. Just the energy and to be able to get that swagger back in that inning. The Indians were winning the game, but just describe that feeling of climbing back into this thing.
But first off, it feels good to be at home. And Cleveland is a tough bunch over there, so every time we play against them, it's a dogfight. And we did a great job pitching, offense, and we took care of business.
Can I have the mic back? All right, you can go. Thanks, Gerard. Yeah, he knows how to play to the camera. But the guy that got it all started was Christian Colon with the pinch hit. Cece, at what point did you realize you were going in? We saw Eibner up on deck. Morales had gone out. What was the thought process there?
Well, I was just ready, you know, like always, just for the moment. And I think, you know, I was calling on to bunt in that situation. And, you know, I got in there, and it was 2-0. And I just, you know, trying to be aggressive, making something happen, and not just giving it to an out right there.
So you were showing bunt, you pull back and find the gap. What did you see?
Well, I mean, as soon as I hit it, I knew I hit it pretty good. I was just hoping it wasn't right at him. But, you know, just sitting here talking to the coaches, Pedro, about the different situations that could happen in the game, and it presented itself, and I'm glad it worked out.
Last thing, how electric was that inning as you batted around and getting 38,000 plus behind you?
This is what we're used to here. You know, this is what we do, is come back, and we're going to continue to do that.
Great job tonight.
Thank you.
Christian Colon, Jarrod Dyson, and a very energetic crowd. Guys.
What a game. Royals down 2-0. Bottom of the 8th inning, 38,000 fans roaring, and Salvador Perez. This was after the Dyson grand slam home run, absolutely rejoicing. Dyson got it, the Salvi splash.